Welcome back to the Talk of Fame podcast. I'm Kylie Montigney, and today we're so excited to welcome Krystal King. At 3 years old, she caught a snippet of Alan Jackson on the radio, and the rest is history. Country music was in her bones. She followed this love of music to college, where she studied music therapy at Appalachian State University, home of Eric Church and Luke Combs, and worked as a psychiatric music therapist. While she loved being able to use music to help others, Krystal says that country music haunted her and she knew she had to follow the passion. Bringing her to Nashville, now been 5 years since 2020. Krystal's sound has been described as 90s country with a bit of folk, blues, soul, and rock. Krystal combines early influences of artists such as Alan Jackson, Dixie Chicks, Ann Womack, and Willie Nelson with modern likes of Eric Church, Chris Stapleton, and Ashley McBryde. When it comes to songwriting, Krystal says Loretta Lynn is my alter ego. Krystal has released 9 original singles, minus six, which was produced by Mike Loudermilk, previously producing and playing guitar by Crystal Gayle. Over the next year, she'll be releasing her self-produced debut album, Pretty Poison, and CDs also available now if you guys are looking to buy. And the first single from the project, Red Wine and White Lies, in which it has over 15,000 streams on Spotify and Mind Your Own Backyard. A quickly murder song from her album, which has 27K music video views, is featured on the Heartland Network and CountryLine. Krystal has had the honor of performing iconic stages, including the Bluebird Cafe, the Listening Room Cafe, and Tootsies Orchid Lounge in Nashville, and tours nationally visiting North Carolina, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Alabama, Arizona, Mississippi,
Oh,
Florida, and Texas. Additionally, Krystal has played several festivals with headliners including Walker Hayes, which is my personal favorite, Craig Morgan, Kristian Bush, and opened for Beth Neilson Chapman. In 2014, in 2024, Krystal had the honor of performing the VIP lounge at Ascend Amphitheater in Nashville for the Lainey Wilson Concert. Other mobile performances including the National Anthem for the Charlotte FC out of the Panthers Stadium and the Novant Health Thanksgiving Parade in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome to the show, Krystal. I'm so excited to have you on.
yes, thanks so much for having me. Thank
So
you.
you first fell in love with country music at just 3 years old when you heard Alan Jackson, which is a legendary artist to say self. Like, what was it about that moment that stuck with you about Alan Jackson?
The funny thing about that moment is I don't remember it. I was like two or three, I think, and my mom has told me this story, so that's the only reason I know. But in general, I loved Alan Jackson's songwriting. He was one of the artists in the 90s that actually wrote a lot of his own songs, and that
Mhm.
wasn't super common for that time period. Usually they would get their songs from song staff writers at publishers who
Mhm.
would pitch their songs. Alan wrote a lot of his own songs, had a lot of storytelling, and I just liked the diversity. He did some stuff that was just fun and quirky and kind of cheesy, like Chattahoochee,
Mhm.
don't rock the jukebox, all of that. But then he also had some stuff that was like really like deep and meaningful. Where were you when the world stopped turning, and remember when. And so I just really loved his storytelling, and I also just loved the production. He had that very honky tonk like telly
Mhm.
guitar sound,
Mhm.
a lot of steel, a lot of fiddle, and I think as a kid that just really drew me in.
Yeah, I know. Like he really is one of the best artists out there. With
Oh,
one,
so
like
good.
with him, he's one of the few artists from the 90s and now that writes his own music mostly. I mean, every
Mhm.
artist has like their songs that are from different songwriters, but with him, he mostly writes his own songs.
Mhm.
But do you have a favorite Alan Jackson song? My personal favorite is Child Hoochie, which was actually the first one I actually heard about Alan Jackson. But do you have a personal favorite?
Oh gosh, there's so many. It's hard for me to choose. A few of my favorites are, obviously Chattahoochee. Little Bitty was one that I loved as
Oh,
a
that is
kid.
a
It's all
good one.
right to be Little Bitty. Also love. Drive.
Mhm.
That's a great story song. And one of like a deeper cut is So You Don't Have to Love Me Anymore. And it's just like heartbreaking. And yeah, I love that one.
Like like any song he writes is actually good. I mean, Child Hoochie, I think it was his first hit. I could be wrong, but I think it was like one of his first like hit singles when he first started out. And it's
Hmm.
honestly any song he makes is really a hit in my opinion. Like with him, he's not as big as he was in the 90s, but at the same time, he's one of the best singer-songwriters in country music of all time.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Like, but
Agreed.
in terms of country music, like, do you have any favorite country music artists besides Alan Jackson? Whether it's maybe in the 90s, 80s, or
Yeah.
with any artists like Kane Brown, Keith Urban, Luke Combs, like any artists like right now.
Yeah. So currently, I would say been very into um let's see. Eric Church is always a favorite. Ashley McBryde, I think she's so
Mm,
underrated. Chris Stapleton, like a lot of those like bluesy rock country artists.
yeah.
Also like some newer people coming up. May Estes
Hmm.
is kind of an independent. Well, I think she's signed. But she's kind of an up and coming artist that I really like.
Hmm.
Gosh, Lainey Wilson, of course. You
I
have to love
Lainey
her.
Wilson's one of my personal favorites. I never
Yeah,
seen her in concert, but like she's really just fantastic.
great performer.
She is. Like I've been dying to see her in concert. I never been, but for the videos I've seen on YouTube, TikTok, and everything, I'm like, she seems like the person that would be amazing to see.
Yeah, she was really good. I had the honor to sing the VIP lounge of the Ascend Amphitheater before her concert in Nashville last year, I think. And just got to go see the show afterwards, which was a perk of the job.
Oh my
And
gosh, jealous.
she crushed it, absolutely great performer. And I think that was like one of the opening shows of that tour. So I'm sure it
Oh,
even got
that is
I'm sure it
amazing.
got even better after that when
I know,
she got
nothing
the
can top that. Opening for
uh,
Lainey Wilson in one of her first like shows. I mean, nothing can top that.
Well, it wasn't quite opening for her, but I got to sing the
It was
VIP lounge,
close.
so close
You can
enough.
consider
I'll
that if
take
you
it.
wanted to.
Woo!
Like, did you meet her though, or
I
no?
did not.
Oh,
No.
I was saying,
No.
I mean, even if I didn't meet her, I'd be like, at least like kind of open for her, like quote unquote, in a way.
Yeah, no, it was super cool. I definitely will take that. Yeah, it was for the VIP ticket holders who they have like a little like private bar for them where they can go
Mhm.
get snacks and drinks and like hang out in this lounge area, listen to music, get some exclusive stuff, and so it was super cool. It was a wild moment, but very fun.
I'm sure. Hopefully, the next time maybe something happens, you get to meet her if you ever
I
like open
know,
for her again.
right? Right? Wouldn't that be crazy?
I know. Gotta be like, I'm joining too. I'll be like, I'm gonna be the second person joining there in Nashville.
Right, right.
So you said recently that country music haunted you. Like, was there a particular moment when you knew that you had to make the leap to Nashville? Because Nashville is literally the home scene of country music, and it's definitely a place to go.
Yeah, I had always wanted to go to Nashville. That was always a dream and always a plan of mine. But just as far as like making the jump to do it, after college, or actually in college, I did an internship in Nashville for a few months and loved it. But I was like, I have to get to Nashville somehow. So I came and did an internship. And then after college, we looked for jobs in the area, just didn't really find anything. And I was a little nervous to just make the leap and move and depend on like music or waitressing or something. And so it didn't move right away, but me and my husband were long distance at the time. We were dating, and he proposed, and we were deciding like, hey, am I going to move to you or are you going to move to me? And I was like, you know what, one of us has to move, so we might as well just go ahead and go to Nashville now. But I think that was definitely a defining moment because I'd worked outside of college for like a year doing a 9 to 5, and I absolutely loved the job I was doing, but I could tell that something was still missing, and I still had this desire to like really dive in and pursue music and give it the full opportunity that it deserved. And so that was kind of the moment where I was like, no, I need to do this. So that was 8 years ago almost.
Ooh, like I'm like literally like moving there after an internship, especially after getting engaged, is really like, well, if I'm moving somewhere, might as well just go to Nashville. Like I always wanted to live there. But Nashville is really a great place to live. It's not like too cheap, but not too expensive, which is nice. Like compared to like places like New York, Los
Oh
Angeles.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, Nashville's a great place. It's growing and growing, but it still kind of has this like smaller town feel, especially within the music community, and just really love it. It's been a great spot to just, like cut your teeth, get used to singing in front of people, entertaining, get used to songwriting. You quickly get that wake up call when you move here, and you're like, oh, there's a lot of talented people. Like
Mhm.
I didn't know
Compared to like
somebody.
just like
I
visiting, like your eyes
Right,
is
right. Like
wide
even
open compared to like visiting and come here for like
yeah.
a week.
I mean, even compared to people on the radio, there are people out here in town playing the same gigs I am, and I'm like, how do you even sing like that? I didn't know voices could even do that.
I know, like how do you have that
um,
high-pitched voice? Like how does someone like you do it and maybe Dolly Parton can't, for example?
right, exactly. And so it was just well, sorry, I'm moving because the sun moved. I had a shadow on my face. But yeah, it was a wild wake up call. But the good thing about it is it kind of forces you to level up. You surround yourself with all these crazy talented artists, singers, writers, and you just try to learn as much as you can from them.
I know, and plus to me, a million artists, like, it mostly like all artists like early on in their career moved to Nashville. So you're meeting a million people down there, whether it's through sets, going to eat. Like there's always a singer-songwriter somewhere. You just matter of spotting them in Nashville. But at the same time, there's so much talent in Nashville that there's like you don't know who's going to become big and who's not, because there's so many people.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. I mean, I went to college with Luke Combs.
Wait,
I didn't.
really?
Yep, he went to App State. He wasn't in school, I think, when I met him. He was still living in Boone though, and I worked for my college radio station. And actually, I got to interview him on my college radio station. And at this point, he'd not had a hit. Like nobody. I mean, locally, people knew his name, but he wasn't where he is now. Hadn't been signed, hadn't had his first number one yet. And I just remember being like, man, this voice is big. Like this guy's got it. And I do remember me and him messaged about writing together sometime. And then, just like life happened and we never did. And now I'm like, oh man, I messed up.
Like we never knew like if he
You
was
never
going to be
know.
big or
You
not.
never
At the
know.
time, you're like, well, like if he'll make it, he's amazing. But life happens, and you never know. But not like right now, you're just like with him, like ain't no love in Oklahoma, beautiful crazy, like all the songs he made now, it makes sense. Like he has like a very like deep, but also like calming in a very talented voice to the point where
Yeah.
like we all knew he was become famous in a way, but way he deserved it at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always just a reminder to stay, not to quote Tim McGraw, but to stay humble and kind to other people. You're never too good or too big to be nice to people or to support them and help them level up because I mean honestly in Nashville you never know who you're talking to. You might be talking to a huge songwriter that you just didn't know because they didn't flat out tell you.
Or we
Or it
just
might be
didn't
it
know,
might be
matter of
somebody
faith.
that you thought sucked, you thought was terrible, and then they wind up becoming huge and they get better over time. So yeah, just a reminder to always like to stay humble and help each other out in this community.
Yeah, it's especially neat, especially for singer-songwriters. A lot of people make their living on releasing songs, and it
Hmm.
takes a lot of money to make music in the studio. Nothing comes free. Especially like,
Exactly.
living in Nashville, like it's a scene where it's like not everyone is going to make it out in a way. Like not
Exactly.
everyone is going to be big just to be moving into Nashville.
Right.
Even though you want to live that dream, you're just like, what if it doesn't work out and I have to actually get a 9 to 5 job?
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So to go back on Luke Combs, like what was he like? I'm curious. He's one of my personal favorite singer-songwriters. So like what was like kind of your experience like?
Oh gosh, he was so nice. He was just a cool dude. Gosh, it's been so many years, but that was probably the biggest impression I got was he was just a very down to earth guy. He is what he seems to be. He
Hmm.
is that nice, just small town mountain boy,
Hmm.
and just with a big voice and a big passion for singing. And I think he discovered singing and songwriting a little later in life, like in college. I think is when he kind of really dove into that. And I think his song "I Wouldn't Be If I Wasn't Doing This, I'd Still Be Doing This"
Hmm.
is probably so true. Like I think if he didn't hit it big, he would still be touring and still playing whatever small town because he just enjoyed connecting with audiences and he enjoyed singing.
And that's the most important thing. Like even if you are not big, you like at least like tour to make a living out of it and do something
Right.
you enjoy instead of forcing yourself to do it and to make money out of it. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that just do it for the fame of money and maybe a lot of hookups too along the way. But at the same time, like that's not the way to do it. I mean, you have a
No.
reputation, you never know what can go out of it. You can come big in a year or two, and anything could come up
Yeah.
on social media. So like even if it's in your past, someone can come out of it and make a story and everyone knows a few months later I've become big.
I don't even people don't realize like even artists who have like a number one hit, they they still might not be able to make ends meet. They still might be grinding. It takes a while for it to be lucrative. And so you really do have to love it. You really have to be like built and made for that. And honestly, like I mean, I'm still in that very much that grind stage
Mhm.
where I'm driving my minivan around.
Mhm.
You change in the bathroom or in the car or just wherever you get a chance. And it's not glamorous by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, whatever
But
works for
honestly,
you.
yeah, but it honestly is kind of like better than I imagined. Like
Mhm.
when you imagine it, you think of like the fame and the fortune and all and the attention. But honestly, like I wouldn't trade like these days for anything. Like I know even whenever I make it make it big and have the tour bus and have all these teammates, I'm gonna be so grateful for this time. But I'm probably gonna miss this time
Mhm.
of just the grind. So I'm trying to just soak it in, even though it's hard, just reminding myself that like I'm getting to live out some little girl's dream. So I'm
Yeah.
I will take it. I will take it.
Yeah,
And if you're
definitely. Like, it's hard to realize it's taking it in, even though you're just doing the grind, maybe not as like a big artist. Like you never know like when or if you will come big. Because not
Mhm.
everyone takes it, but even if you do, just enjoy the grind while you could. Because it's not gonna
Right.
last.
Like do it because like you love it and not for the end game. So like
Oh,
not like I think that's a big thing is like just if even if I never hit it big, like would I still want to do this and endure this? And the answer for me is yes. So
hmm.
I think that's just a good reminder whenever you're deciding if that's something you want to jump into. And if you're listening and you hear and you're not watching, I'm outside and the birds keep getting louder and louder. So I apologize, but hopefully they're pretty in the background.
Yeah, I you can barely hear them in my end.
Okay,
They
good, good.
perfectly
Over
good.
here, they're like loud.
Oh, I'm sure. Like that's how it is outside. I can hear some of them like in front of my house because we get a bunch of birds where I am, especially my area. So it's like every morning it's just a beautiful sound to wake up to. I always hear birds chirping. So you're hosting a VIP record release party at the Five Spot in Nashville on March 27th, which is tomorrow. Like, what can fans expect from this event?
Yeah, so I guess by the time this podcast comes out, the party will have already happened. But I'm so excited. I'm releasing a 7 song album called Pretty Poison, and so there is a kind of a divey bar in Nashville called the Five Spot, and it's kind of more of a local venue, and I'm very excited. I'm hosting an album release party. And invited all my friends and family and strangers, whoever. Um, can come out, and we're starting the night off with a writer's round featuring three of the girls who co-wrote songs on the album. There were four writers other than me on the album that we all collaborated. Um, and so I'm featuring three of them. The other one's out of town, unfortunately. So Stephanie Joyce, me and her wrote three of the songs on the album. Taylor Hughes, we wrote two together. And then my friend Lina, we wrote one of them, Doggone. So they're going to play a writer's round at the very beginning, feature some of their own songs, just kind of highlight them. And then we'll kick off the full band set with a few songs that I have been part of writing that other people have cut. So we're going to do four of those, and then we're just going to dive into the album and play the whole thing from start to finish, and hopefully drink a little bit, have maybe eat some cake, have a good time.
Ooh, like, what can you tell us about the album? I know the album's coming out, if not out in the next few weeks. It's called Pretty Poison. Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah. So if you're listening, it's out March 28th. So it might already be out. And it's a seven-song project that kind of has like a darker theme to it. All most of the songs are about sort of some struggle in a relationship. So there's a cheating song, a leaving song, a falling out of love song, a murder song. Murdering my husband. So there's a little bit of that in there, and it just shows a lot of classic country like storytelling and lyrics, as well as kind of blending some sounds. Definitely country, but there are a few tracks that maybe lean a little bit more into folk or to blues,
Mhm.
or have kind of a rock element to it. And then Pretty Poison is kind of my wild card on the track. It's the last song, and I don't know, I don't really know what it is. It's like an indie rock song. It's not country at all. And I don't know why I decided to put this one on the album, but when I was picking songs, I was like, you know what? This one's not like that deep storytelling wise or lyrically, but it can just sound really cool. And I just want to see what we can do with it. So
Mhm.
we just went weird with it. We have trumpets, steel guitar, fiddle, like a weird blend of instruments, and it's kind of haunting, but it's just kind of a jam song.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't wait to hear it. Like all our
Yes.
singles and stuff are like my type of thing. I love a mix of country and rock and roll. So that'd be something that I'd be definitely tuning in for. And how
Yeah.
many songs are on the album, by the way?
It's seven songs. Seven
Ooh, my type of
songs.
jam. Like I love a
Yeah.
type of album that's got like two small balls and not too big at the same time.
hmm Yep, and it's got a good mix of songs, mostly up tempo. But two of them are like one's more like kind of a power ballad, and then one is more of like a folky, slow, sad song. But a good mix. I try really hard to have my songs sound different from each other, still
Mhm.
within some sort of branding or theme, but I do like whenever I listen to albums and not every song sounds the same. So
Oh man.
that was definitely one of my goals when creating this one.
Ooh, I'm so excited to hear it. And I'll make sure I put it in the description for y'all to check out if you're interested in tuning in. But the last question I have for you is like, what's next for you and your music?
Yeah. So touring, a lot of touring. So this month in April, I'll be in Kentucky, Florida, North Carolina, and back here in Tennessee. So traveling a lot. May I'm going to Texas. So just playing and touring as much as possible and kind of figuring out the next project. I do have one more song that's ready to go. So at some point after the album release, I'm gonna put that one out. And I'm also hoping to put out some live performance tracks from the album release party. So fingers crossed that everything turns out well and we get some tracks that we really love to put out live. And then, eventually I would like to do another album, but like you said earlier, things are expensive, but I've been kind of honing in on what songs I really love that might be on the next project, and then starting to try to fill the holes of what it might need that I don't have yet.
Awesome. Like it's always good to try something new and add something in. Of course, money is a very big thing. So, like everything has to be worth it. As long as you love something, you just got to save up and hopefully it all works out.
Yeah, I think the next project will be a little happier.
No, but I can't. Let's hope for that, guys. Let's hope
Maybe.
for well, maybe. But I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chat with us today. It means so much. I'm so glad we were able to finally do this. It's been so long we've been trying to do this, but I'm so glad we are able to do this. Thank you so much
Yes.
for taking the time out of your busy schedule and before your album release.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.